the starting lineup for the Keeping It Real show. From Oak Point, Texas, it's the Tokyo Tex, the Kamikaze Cowboy, the Sukiyaki Jockey, the MOT, the Man of Trail, Tim Kimura! And from the home of the San Antonio Spurs, the captain of the team, the man with the dream, the man behind the wheel for Keeping It Real, Brad Jewett!
Hello, everybody. Let us know where you're tuning in from tonight. I'm Brad Jewett.
I'm Tim, the Trailman.
Keeping it real.
And now, Brad and Tim.
And now, the starting lineups for the Keeping It Real show from Oak Point, Texas. The Kamikaze Cowboy, the Tokyo Tex, the Sukiyaki Jockey, the MOT, the Man of Trail, Tim Kimura. And now, from the home of the San Antonio Spurs, the captain of the team, the man with the dream, the man behind the wheel, and keeping it real, Brad Jewett. Good evening, everybody.
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day it is. We're going to do a little patriotic something a little bit after the break here at halftime, after our rapid fire and thanking our sponsors. So stay tuned for that. Hope everybody's had a great Memorial Day. I know I have. As you can see, Mr. Tim Kimura is in the festivity spirits. I love it. Look at that shirt. Stand up, Tim. About that. Dang, that's nice. You've been waiting for the perfect moment, and here it is.
I know. We'll have to give props to my friend Robin Fred, who bought me this shirt last week. So
Nice. We got a great crowd that is lined up right now. So I want to bring in Miss Sara Simons right away, and let's get rolling with this. Hi,
Hey,
Sarah.
guys.
How are you?
Sarah P, yo.
Good.
Hi, guys.
Good to see you. Hey, let's get kicked off. First of all, before we get into your history, you've been at a paint show in Oklahoma City. Is that correct?
Yep, we just got back from the paint show yesterday. It went great. There was a lot of people practicing social distancing. The people that are in charge of taking care of the facility did a lot of extra things to keep the handrails clean and sanitize everything. It was a great show, thanks in part to the show manager, Jared Reese, and also Todd Gralla helped insisting with making sure that things went smooth with the facility. So it was a great turnout, and I think everybody was really happy just to be back at the horse show.
I'll bet. That's part of what we were excited about having you on here for, is because we had Jackie on, of course, that runs the Redbud for us, coming up this next week. And then you were there at the paint show, so you could kind of give us a feedback of what it kind of felt like a little bit. I'm sure it was probably good to see a bunch of your friends that you hadn't seen at a horse show. I know you've been talking to them and maybe riding with a few of them here and there, but then to actually get back into the swing of things and the competition of it all, right, and put it back to work was probably fun, right? Something we all have to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a breath of fresh air, and I think everybody was just so excited to be back at a horse show and around each other, and everybody kind of tried to abide by the rules the best they can. Jared had very similar guidelines to, I believe, what Jackie's going to have for us this week, and it was a successful show, and I feel like the Redbud is going to be amazing as well.
Perfect.
So how soon till you go back to Redbud?
I'll be going to Redbud in the morning. So we were a quick turnaround for our paint quarter horse group here at our camp. But I wouldn't have it any other way, especially since we've hardly been able to show much in the last few months. So it's just nice to have somewhere to go and get the horses out. And we've, like a lot of people that train horses, have been working really hard without a lot of an idea what our goal is going to be. So we're excited to get to go and see everybody and compete.
Nice.
So, Sarah, thanks for taking your Monday off to come talk with us tonight. Can you kind of tell us about your upbringing, when you were born, and some of your things that you did in school when you were younger?
For sure. I was born in Dallas, and I've lived in Aubrey my entire life. My parents, Lynn and Andrea Simons, purchased the ranch that my mom still lives on in 1978, I believe. And like I said, she's still there right on Friendship Road in 377. So that's really cool and is special for her to be there all these years. And they pretty much built the entire thing. There was a house there and one barn, and everything else my mom and dad built there. So that's super cool. I went to high school at Pilot Point High School. That was really something that was very important to me. My sister and I were both very active in athletics, so I was able to play sports, both basketball and volleyball, all through high school and junior high. And I actually did get a college scholarship to play volleyball. I ended up choosing to go a little different route. So I went to North Texas because I really wanted to continue to show and keep my efforts a little bit more with the horses, because I had dedicated so much of my efforts to volleyball, particularly in high school. So when it was time for college, I decided that I wanted to, make the horses a little bit more of a priority than I was even able to in my youth career. So I did the University of North Texas, and I got a undergraduate degree in political science and minor in business. I have my grandfather, Jay Simons, is an attorney, and my uncle, who passed away a few years ago, Dan Simons, was also an attorney. So the law side definitely runs in my family, and now my sister is also an attorney. So we have lots of attorneys in our family.
Wow.
And then, can you tell me like some of the events that you showed, like when you were young?
Yeah, I did the halter mostly. My dad was mainly a halter horse trainer, and my sister and I both did halter from, I feel like 3-4 years old. I mean, there's pictures when we were super, super tiny. And we didn't do a lot of riding. We did as maybe kind of we were getting a little bit closer to 9-10, but my parents were really busy horse trainers and they were gone a lot. And as much as I kid my mom a little bit, we got to stay home a lot with nannies so we could be there when school started. They'd always have to go to a big horse show in Reno when school started. So it was a different way of growing up, but they made sure we always had everything we needed, and we were definitely afforded, to have an excellent upbringing and do a little bit of everything, which I think is super important.
Wow. So you guys are the owners of Zippo Sensation, right? Can you tell us a little bit of the story of this, the background, how you guys bought them and raised them and everything?
Well, my dad found him from Joe Bachman in Alabama when he was a baby, and that would have been 93, so I was pretty young. But I know I've heard the story with my mom and my dad quite frequently, and he kind of asked her a question, can a baby's neck be too long? And my mom responded to my dad, can the basketball player be too tall? So obviously we all love to see a long-necked horse, and he ended up just being the backbone of our whole breeding operation. And since my mom and my dad both felt super strong in the horse, they both did everything they could to make sure he had as good a mares as he could breed. We always had excellent people riding them. And as a stallion owner, my dad and my mom taught my sister and I that if you don't stand behind that horse and do everything you can personally do, nobody else is going to do it for you. So they were really, really active in doing everything possible they could for Zippo to be the sire he ended up being, within the APHA and ultimately NSBA being the only paint horse to be nominated or to be in the Hall of Fame.
Wow. So I was doing something. Did you tell me who rode him and showed him?
Todd Summers showed him for my mom and dad. He showed one time as a riding horse. My mom showed him in the lunge line and won the world in 94. And that's really the only showing he did. He went on, and my dad and mom started breeding him at a pretty young age and wanted to, make sure he was going to outproduce himself. And he far outproduced himself. And that's obviously what you hope every stud can do that you would want to stand.
So it's amazing. It's amazing when I go to Europe all the time how many Zippo Sensations are over there.
Yes, true.
Like I have lots of friends over in Europe that have Zippos over there.
Yeah, they like the color. They do. They really love the color. And it seems like the more horses that we sell overseas, they want them louder and louder and louder. So that's fun. And it does. It makes me super proud that they're kind of well represented all over the world. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell me a little bit about your sister and yourself when you guys maybe passed your youth and started being amateurs and stuff for a while. Maybe people who might have influenced you in your riding career back then?
We had quite a few influences. You know, I think that we were able to ride with some amazing people. That was something that my mom really impressed upon both of us, that we needed to go and learn and do more. And anybody that we could go ride with, she really encouraged that. She, from people like Todd Summers to Troy Compton, Ty and Karen Hornick, were tremendous helps to both of us. Obviously, Jason Martin and Charlie Cole. Scott Suggs. There's been various different people that have worked there at the ranch over the years. Jeffrey Gibbs and I obviously worked together for many years, and he and I are super good friends, and we still are to this day, and we work with each other, you know, often. So there's been lots of people that have influenced us over the years. And, you know, and the amateur, my sister, she did show some all around quite a bit actually, but then she started to take a liking for the reining, and she's very accomplished. She's won the reining fraternity. She's won, I think she said she's won close to 150,000 as a non-pro. So her first year at the reining fraternity was a phenomenal success. So she won, I think it was her second year. I think she won the level, or the 1, the 2, and the 3, and then she was third in the 4, like behind Mandy McCutcheon and maybe Matt Armenta. So it was pretty impressive for her right off the bat to be able to do that. So, and now she has another reiner this year and is preparing for the fraternity again. So she is very accomplished in other avenues as well.
How about how we get this name, Mano, Man of Trail, Mano? Like,
right?
I have to give you guys props, right? Because you guys are the ones that gave me the name. So
well, and I didn't
funny.
put it all together because I've been at your trail table and Sarah goes up and she goes, "Hey, Mano, 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 Mano." I'm like, I guess that's just her nickname for Tim or something like that. But I didn't realize that that's actually where Man of Trail came from. And actually, Man of Trail is a knockoff of Mano.
Right.
So,
that's
yeah,
right. That's right.
Tell us that story. Tell everybody that story. It's awesome.
Well, we have there's a room in the back of my mom's ranch house that was built. It was kind of an addition. It actually does not have any windows. It has a bathroom, and it's super secluded, and many people have stayed there over the years. When Mano would come and stay with us and help myself, some of my youths or amateurs, he would travel other places. When he originally lived out in California, his home base could kind of be my house, and he could go and do, you know, what he needed to do in Texas. And so along the way, my sister and I both are really bad. Every cat, every dog, every horse will have multiple names. And so everything just kind of morphs for us. And so he kind of morphed into Mano Trail. So, you know, it even, there's a cabinet, and Tim actually put a piece of duct tape with Man of Trail on there, and it's still there to this day. So he didn't exactly like engrave it like it was an actual graffiti or anything, but it actually is still there. I'll have to show you a picture, Tim.
So back then, because it was so hot in the afternoons, it was like tragic because I wanted to go take a nap, right? And that room had no windows, right? The cave, I call it the cave. Right.
Yep.
And so I'd go in there and I'd turn the fan on and I'd lie down and you couldn't tell if it was day or night. So I loved that room. That was my favorite room ever.
That was a cave.
How do you don't like dark at all, Tim? Like when he comes and stays here, I'll walk, I don't know, at 5 o'clock in the morning or 11 or 12 o'clock. Like that guy sleeps with the light on. Like, I don't think
that's why we argue all the time, is because she wants it pitch dark and silent, okay, and I want it like a lit up, and because I'm afraid a little bit. I'm afraid of the dark a little bit. Sorry about that. But,
that's what. Okay, well, it makes sense.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
The dungeon didn't get you over that.
No.
That's not.
But it's those cats, and then you got so many cats over there.
I'm a cat person.
Oh my God, Cat City. Okay,
No, I didn't-
let's
didn't
talk
know
about
that person.
let's talk about how you decided to be a trainer, and maybe we'll talk about some of your kids and stuff like that. Like, how'd you transfer from being an amateur, like deciding going into the business for sure for your family?
Well, I actually lost my father in 2005, and I spent a couple of years kind of playing with the idea. I think I'm sorry, I should back up. That's also the year I graduated from college. So I spent a few years kind of trying to decide if that's what I wanted to do. And I had two very amazing youth kids kind of come into my life / my mom's life at the time, Chelsea Bain and Taylor Prince. And they really helped me see that that's what they were amazing people. They were amazing writers. They really helped form me as the trainer that I am today. The three of us did so much together. They were like my little sisters. They're not a lot younger than they're a little bit younger than me, but not a lot. And so it was definitely one of those things where 24/7 they either in the dungeon or in one of the other rooms. They were always there.
Yeah. So, and then you got, like I said, you guys would do everything together. that was just funny, and it's neat to watch those two grow up too, right? Because they're pretty famous and they're beautiful and they're doing very well in this stuff.
Yeah.
How, especially Chelsea. I'm gonna maybe share a Chelsea story, because Chelsea, like she's a strange little girl. It's funny, like she. I love to help her, but Chelsea was Chelsea, right? Like, she would do odd things sometimes. But she could ride. But
she can really ride. She really can.
But then Chelsea would have like a Chelsea moment sometimes. Like, I don't know how that worked. But you want to tell us a story about Chelsea when she was little, when you first maybe met her or trained her?
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the first times that Jeffrey was actually working there at the ranch at this time, and he and I went out to Shelbyville, Tennessee, because her mom had asked if she had come from the POAs, and she's like, "This is the last POA show we'd like her to do before she, just starts doing truly paints only. And could you guys go and help her?" And we were, yeah, sure. Jeffrey and I went out there with Calvin, and I remember one of the first classes was the bareback horsemanship, and I'm kind of watching her on the rail, I guess it was, maybe after her pattern, and she's leaning more forward and more forward and more forward, and I am on the rail livid, and I'm thinking to myself, what is she doing? She knows she should not be leaning forward like that. And she finally comes out of the class, and she refused to sit back. She came out of the class, and I recall her not doing excellently, as she shouldn't, because we were clearly not in proper horsemanship position. And she came out of the class, and she sat back, and she had split the front of her pants. So that is why Chelsea chose to sit like that. So we laugh about it to this day, and she is the greatest person. I really owe so much of the horse trainer that I have become, and some of the person I've become, because she and Taylor would spend months on end with me, and it really, we had such a special bond, and I still do. I mean, I was in Taylor got married a year or two ago, and that was super special for me, to be there and be a part of that for her was pretty awesome, because I look at them like, not as my kids, but as my little sister.
I think their families too were super cool to be around. I mean, they were always so polite, always so nice, and they're very supportive of those two girls, both families for sure. I really appreciate that.
In that very beginning, when I was kind of starting, it was them and Marilyn and Paul Caliendo. They were kind of the ones that were there in the very beginning, and obviously Chelsea still has Barbie there. The Princes don't have a horse with me right now, but Susan's kind of wanting to get back into doing it, and obviously Paul and Marilyn Caliendo have quite a few horses with us, and to me that's really a test of a trainer that's doing a decent job anyway. When you have your customers that you have low turnover in your customers, that's makes you feel good. It's nice to know that you can kind of keep them happy for long term, because it's a tough business, and they can sure come and go, and it makes it a little stressful when it's kind of a constant revolving door.
For sure. I think it's a pretty consistent story, what you've told about young trainers when they decide they want to hang their shingle out and everything, is to have that client or clients, as you did. I'd had the same, that really just said, I'm going to back you. I'm with you. You're learning. I understand. We're going to learn kind of as we go a little bit here and there, but it's so nice to have that confidence supporting you, right? Is saying, we're doing this. I'm working hard. It's not just like, okay, go do your job. And I'm not going to, like, that those two girls, and I'm sure you had a couple other clients as well, but that really said, everything you're telling me, I believe in it, and I'm going to do it. We all need that big step behind us. No matter what your parents did before you, it's great to know that on your own, that you had somebody behind you, pushing you, trying to make you better, challenging you, inspiring you to want to get better at what you did. So I love those stories, because it's true. And sometimes owners don't understand how important that is, to have somebody, when they see your talent, to get behind you and go, okay, we're in this with you. It's awesome. Great story. And a funny story with Chelsea too.
So one more question at this part is, can you just tell me something maybe that your mother taught you in showmanship to coach, or your dad taught you when he was showing back in the day? Like, just for being a trainer?
I think both of them, really instilled a strong work ethic in both my sister and I. And I think most everything kind of comes back to that, and honesty. I think that those are the two things that, if you can take those two things and work with them, you can have success in about anything you put your mind to. So more than, the horsemanship and all that all has come with time. My parents obviously have instilled that in both my sister and I, but it's definitely the work ethic and the honesty.
Yeah, share a little bit about some of the help that you have still that are working with you, and how long they've been with you, and how your dad, which you were sharing with us the other day when we were talking about how your dad instilled, like you said, your work ethic, but about being out at the barn, about doing certain things that that would be a hard position, stepping in as the child and still commanding the respect of employees that have been there for so long, but then still wanting to stay with you and work with you. So speak a little bit under that, if you would.
Yeah. Timoteo has been there at our ranch for, I think, a little more than 35 years. And he was obviously there with my father, and he pretty much emulates the exact way my father was. It's funny to see him around the ranch and his mannerisms, but he got that from working for my dad for many, many, many years. And I really feel like my dad was able to instill that in him. And any of the other kind of Hispanic guys that work there with Tim, they kind of just follow suit with him. I talked to other trainers that kind of have a lot of turnover in that area, and I think when you have someone that can lead by example like that, it makes so much difference. And, I think that I attribute that to my dad being out there before everybody and after everybody. And it's pretty incredible. So that's awesome. Definitely my character of my father's.
So one thing, there were two boys, I think Ricky and Jeffrey, when they were working for you when they were first out there and I was first out there, they loved to cream the poles. Like, they were always on the young pleasure horses, and I'd put poles out for you girls, and they would take their young horses out there, and they wouldn't even try to miss them. They would try to hit them. I always remember that. I said, how are you guys going to? And then after all that, now I see both the boys doing some trail now, and I'm laughing. I said, back then when I was there, maybe if you listen to me, I'd teach you how not to hit the poles. But they got better. I watched Jeffrey and those guys. So I was impressed after that, but I just remember when I was first out there, we had those big thick poles out there, and those guys would just like car crash those suckers just to slow down or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I remember them doing
trusted that. Mano. They didn't know if they trusted Mano's deal was real or not.
Really?
That's right.
This kamikaze jockey coming from California. What's this all about?
Bring me some music, Grandpa.
Here we go. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Rapid Fire. You ready, Sarah?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it, Timmy.
Go ahead. Question number one. If you were a pair of shoes, what kind of shoes would you be?
Sneakers. I'm all about the comfort.
Perfect. Name a horror.
She's an athletic girl, too.
I know.
That's
Name
right.
a horror movie. Name a horror movie that frightened you when you were young. Name a horror movie that. What?
Absolutely none. I watched nothing like that. No way.
So all of them is what you're saying.
Correct. Yeah, we'll go with them all, Brad. That's fine. I don't need to see one ever.
Number 3. Name a horse trainer outside of Texas that you look up to.
Outside of Texas that I look up to. I really look up to Karen Hornick.
Very good.
Nice.
Perfect. Name a food item that you love to eat but shouldn't have too much of.
Chips.
Chips. Okay.
That was my wife's
Number
answer.
5.
I quizzed her on the same thing.
Name your favorite professional sports team and one player on that team.
Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson.
Nice. Good answer.
What foreign country could you and your sister visit for a week?
Well, Tim, I think we all had a nice time in Italy.
How could you not?
Good answer. What exercise do you do but hate doing it?
All of that.
If she had the ABCD card, she'd put them all up there.
Every exercise. I go to the gym. I do. I go to the gym. I haven't been since COVID. They've lifted some of the restrictions here, but I do go to the gym and I try to be an active person, but I really do not love to exercise.
Okay. If a horse could talk, what would the last horse you rode want to say to you about your ride together?
I think we've done enough lead changes.
I got it already. I got it.
Right? You are crazy, lady.
Just trust me.
Number 9. Name an untold barn rule for Simon show horses. Name an untold barn rule for Simon show horses.
Wrap the legs.
Yeah.
Wrap the legs.
Good one. 10. If you just finished college and couldn't train horses, what career might have you been interested in?
Interior decorating.
Good job. Okay, I have 11, but won't come on the board. Okay, bonus question. Name your all-time favorite Sippo Sensation horse.
Oh boy, Tim. Geez, I have to have two. It has to be Sensational Blonde and one Flashy Sensation.
Okay, good job. Good job, B. Good.
Very good. That was very rapid firing.
Yeah, man.
Boom.
Good job, sis. Good job.
All right, everybody, we'll be back very soon, right after these words from our sponsors. We thank our sponsors very much. If anybody is interested, please shoot us a message. We would love to have your logo right above our heads over here. Of course, Tim's not putting his hand up, but above his head too. All right, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Every once in a while, something comes along that could be a game changer. Enter Unishippers, a trusted shipping source for more than 30 years. If you need a reliable, fast shipping source, turn to a specialist that knows the unique shipping needs of the equine reproductive marketplace. As an authorized UPS reseller, Unishippers offers unbeatable shipping value. Let Unishippers deliver for you. Call Mark and his team today.
Caring for your horses is easy when there's a safe choice for you. If you need one feed for the whole barn, there's a safe choice. If your horses need gastric support, there's a safe choice for them too. Some horses need lower starch and sugar. You guessed it, there's a safe choice for them. There's also a safe choice for mares and foals, for seniors, and for easy keepers. All these horses can gain a lot with science-backed nutrition from Nutrena. Yours could too. For every horse, there's always a safe choice.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain.
Happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Memorial Day.
For purple mountain majesties. Above the fruited plain. Look here. I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed his grace on thee. He crowned thy good. Saving brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
All right.
Okay, thank you guys.
Charles, thank you everybody for hanging with us
Happy
through the
Memorial.
break. We had to pay some tribute to, of course, all those men and women that have fought for our freedom, of course, and all the
Thank
first
you.
responders with everything that we're going through in this world. We couldn't keep going without them. So we definitely wanted to pay a little tribute there. But now we're going back to Miss Sara Simons. Tim
Hey,
Kimura,
Sarah.
let's keep the questions rolling.
Sarah B., I've got 1 second here. I'd love for you to give props to your grandparents over in Florida that are watching us. Can you mention them for us?
Yeah, Jay and Nancy Simons in Florida. I'm sure they're listening, and my grandfather was president of the Paint Horse Association, and my grandmother was super influential in starting a lot of the judging stuff with the paints, and she was on the judges committee for many years, and definitely formed my mom and myself into the people that we are today. So she's an amazing lady. They're pretty outstanding people.
Yeah, I love them. I know that they're listening to us tonight, so thanks for listening. Okay, B, let's talk a little bit about from showing paints to getting into the quarters a little bit and showing like that. How'd you change over? Did it just kind of naturally progress over like that?
Yeah, a little bit. Allie Edison, one of my amateurs that lives here in Texas, she's been with me for many, many years. She's an outstanding rider. She had sold one of her special once-in-a-lifetime paint horses and said, I think I've done a lot in the paints, and I'd kind of like to see if I could try to do the quarters. She had done them when she was a lot younger, and she kind of wanted to go back and give it a go. And she said, if you could find me double registered, I'd sure like to kind of go down that path. And, a little bit me being hesitant, but knowing she could do it because she is an outstanding rider. We began to search, and actually we were able to find He's Blazing Trouble from Stanley and Susan Scott in Florida, and he was an amazing partner for her for about 6 months, I guess. She was high point at the Sun Circuit. She just obviously started doing the quarter horse stuff, so she was level 2, and she was qualified and everything. And then that's obviously when Jason and Charlie kind of entered the picture with that horse. But Jason and Charlie had both tried to kind of get me to do this for a couple years, and I just was kind of in my little bubble and didn't know if I could really be too competitive in that world. And when I got my judges card in AQHA in 2015, I was watching and I was just kind of in awe, like, I don't know if I can do all this. And I was just kind of unsure for a little bit. And once we got the sorrel horse and Jason and Charlie kind of gave us the opportunity with a couple, super special horses like VS Good Ride, and it definitely helped make the transition a little bit easier. And now I have as many quarter horses as I do paints, maybe more quarter horses now, but the paints will always be my where I was raised and my original family. So I never want to lose that. I'll always show the paints, but it's been an amazing adventure with the quarter horses, and having horses like Talk Southern to me and helping Alex Early realize her dream to be a world champion last year. That was my first AQHA youth world to have somebody participate in, and she was fortunate enough to be world champion in the level 3 and level 2 hunter saddle, and that was amazing. So I've just been really so lucky to have some really cool horses in the last year or two in the AQHA that have helped give me this jump start so quick. And I owe a lot of the nudging to Jason and Charlie for sure.
So how do you where I'm at? Well, you had a great year last year, or the last few years actually. So what's the difference showing paints and quarters? Is that what you said already, or is there different people?
I don't know that I really said it's. Your quarter horse shows are a lot more. They're a little bit more demanding. I mean, most of these, I think you guys maybe call them super shows or something like that. But you're there for a lot more days. Your medication rules are different. Stuff like that is kind of a lot of people don't think about. We're able to give Butte, an hour before the class if that's what we want to do. And obviously, you guys have a little bit more strenuous rules where that's concerned. So I feel like it's a lot harder to go to those quarter horse shows and show them, like at the Redbud, we'll show everything 3 times and they'll stand on that concrete for a week and a half, and you need to have a really sturdy horse to get through some of that stuff where, like our Oklahoma City show we did this week was 2 days, and you're able to give them, Butte that morning and kind of go on with it. And it's just a totally different way you kind of have to prepare for things with each of them. They both have their pros, they both have their cons, but I have really enjoyed getting to do the quarter horse stuff. I was a little bit leery at first, but now, I love being there, and it's becoming my family too, for sure.
For sure. It's been a seamless transition looking at it from my point of view. You stepped right in and just, you brought some great horse flesh with you when you stepped in. And when you've got Charlie and Jason trying to encourage you to come in and do it, what better support cast could you have, right? Than those two encouraging you to come in and start showing in the quarter horse world. So what a great job. It comes with a lot of pressure. There's no question about it, right? I mean, I so much kudos to you, because that is a lot of pressure with that kind of horse flesh. I mean, you talked a little bit about what the Blazing Trouble horse did win last year, because obviously we can hear the humility in your voice, which we appreciate so much, and is a big reason why you're as successful as you are. But tell us, now is your moment that I'm asking you what you were able to accomplish on that horse last year, because it was definitely a year to remember that I know you'll never forget.
No, for sure not. The way the year was kind of set up was for, like I said, his owner at the time, Allie Edison, to start her all-around career on him. And from the beginning of the year at Prairie Classic, I kind of had him started in the trail and Western riding, but she was doing the showmanship, the horsemanship, the reason the Western riding kind of came to that was because I knew he needed a solid lead change for her in the horsemanship. Yeah. So he was kind of started that way, and the year kind of obviously morphed into once Bonnie Sheeran purchased him after the Redbud, ironically, last year, to be my trail and Western riding year. So after the Redbud, brought the NSBA World for him, and he was amazing. He won the junior Western riding, and he won the green junior Western riding, and he actually tied to win the 4 and 5-year-old Western riding, and he did lose the tiebreaker there. He was reserved in maybe the color hunt seat. He won the color trail. So I feel like he maybe won maybe 5 world titles at the NSBA World last year.
That is
and
awesome.
then that brought him to the paint world, where he had just as much success. He won junior trail, green trail, junior Western riding, green Western riding, and he was reserved in the green 100 saddle again there. Let's see. He then went to the Congress, I believe. Yes. And he won the green and the junior Western riding at the Congress. And lastly, he had the most amazing world show. It was just like a dream, that horse show. He started off by winning the green trail with like a 241 or something like that. And then he won the level 2 trail with a 242 or something like that. And then did not have the best go in the level 3 final. So my friend Kelly McDowell was triumphant, which is awesome. He's a great person. Really happy for him. And then the level 2 Western riding finals went, and Jason and Charlie allowed me to show Boss VS Good Ride, and he was reserved to Parker. He's Blazing Trouble in the level 2 Western riding. And then Jason showed Boss in the level 3 Western riding, and he was bronze. He got 3rd, and Parker was the world champion with a new record of, I think, 239 for a junior Western rider. So super proud, and it was quite the year for He's Blazing Trouble and VS Good Ride, who got to be the NSBA Horse of the Year, and so happy for Brenda Gower and Jason and Charlie, for giving us the opportunity to be a part of his life. Danny Desmond, who works with me, RJ King, they really did a great job on that horse, and really, really proud of that. That was such an amazing accomplishment for that stud. I can't speak enough about him. He's so good-minded, and he goes back and forth. He lives with me, but he goes every other day and breeds with them, and he'll have to go to the Red Bud this week, and he will be going back and forth every other day. He'll get collected. He'll go show for Charlie. It will be something that I don't think enough mare owners can really understand when we talk about having good-minded stallions. Like, that's a different level of good-minded, in my opinion.
For sure.
So, with all the awards you won last year too, I know that's your new office that you're at. Where'd you hide all the trophies?
Well, they're at my mom's house. My mom has most of them. She actually called me before this, and she's like, I was looking around this office, and I have all your trophies. What are you going to do? And I said, well, I have some here, and my boyfriend actually arranged it to where it at least looked this good, because they were the trophies were displayed outside, but the pictures he hung so at least they weren't laying on the ground. So that's nice.
And we saw the pictures on the previous show too, so we know all the trophies and stuff that you won too. So we trust you on that one. So it's all good.
Good.
So I got another topic to go to. So when you and your sister were young, and your mother made you guys dance, right? When you guys dance?
God, yes.
Tell me all the types of dancing that you did when you were younger.
This is embarrassing. This is
Come
really
on.
embarrassing.
I wish we had video.
Well, okay, so we did tap, and let's preface this here, guys. My mom kept trying new things for me, maybe more me than my sister, because nothing was sticking. Nothing really worked. So we went from tap, ballet, jazz, point, gymnastics, clogging, the whole gamut, people, everything.
Clogging.
It was one thing to the next. My mom kept both my sister and I very, very busy doing anything besides horses.
So, using that in mind here, now I'm going to ask you about Western riding, okay? Because I always think that the rhythm of your dance.
It's a good thing I have better timing with that, Tim.
Yeah. So I always think, subliminal, that your mom taught you or made you do all that. I think it applies to Western riding, because Charlie and Jason always talk about this timing, this feel and this timing. And I know you can ride, and it's a little bit about that timing. So, what is it that makes Western riding easy for you? Because you definitely have a little art to make it. If you're going to score that much number, 239, 241, something, there's something that you're doing presentation-wise. Maybe that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I mean, I've been so fortunate my whole career. I guess I never really technically worked for somebody, but people that have been working there around me, they've been very Western pleasure minded. And I think that foundation for me, that's the way that I feel like I want my horses changing leads. I want to always keep that frame in the back of my mind. So I think that's something that maybe is a little bit different for what I do. I'm always kind of pressing on those Western pleasure buttons. That foundation is super important for my Western riders and trail horses. So I guess that maybe answers your question a little bit. I think it's the benefit of some of those people, that have worked with and around me. Alicia Carroll works with me now. She does awesome. Danny Desmond, Jeffrey Gibbs, RJ King, Russell Harris, Kelly Bennett. I mean, there's been so many, Colt Andrews. There's been so many awesome people that really, that's where they excel, is the pleasure, and having them around me all the time. I think that's just stuck with me, and I've been able to transfer that into the other avenues that I've kind of wanted to, participate in.
Tell me this then. So you've ridden great horses, and you've been fortunate to have nice horses, good moving horses that do this, Western riding.
Yeah.
What do you do with one that's not as good, but maybe it's not the perfect Western riding horse? What is it that you can do to manipulate that one or teach it to be a better lead changer?
I have lots of circle exercises.
All right, everybody. We're going to let everybody crawl back in real quick. We apologize about Facebook and whatever they decide to do, they do, as we all know. But our viewership is picking back up. We want to make sure nobody misses a single word Sarah has to say, because we're in the middle of some great Western riding information. Man, we just jumped up to like 200 in a hurry, so that's awesome. Excellent.
Come on back.
Excellent. So we want to continue back in. Thank you, everybody, for coming back in. But we want to circle back just in case anybody missed what Sarah was talking about, because you were talking about, you do some things that I want to say unorthodox, but I get it. I see it, but it's different than what other people do. And actually, I've been playing a lot with that with my 3-year-old this year. Just kind of, I'm an eternal watcher. Like, I love to go out there in the middle of the night, just watch people school and stuff, right? So you're definitely one that I've watched a little bit, because I've struggled with the Western riding forever. I don't feel like my timing's bad. I don't feel like I'm not a good horse rider. It's just like there's just something I'm missing. So I'm constantly trying to find, and feel like things are finally starting to settle in. But let's circle back, Sarah, to a little bit about what you do when you're kind of, I think where Tim was is pushing body parts around, maybe taking that Western rider that maybe doesn't have all of that talent that they're born with, but trying to get them to give just a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. I was just talking about some circles that I do. I'll do it cantering. I'll do it, with the correct lead, the direct lead, and I'll kind of teach the horse to take their head away from their body and help them learn that they can move their body independently of their neck. So when they do get to be straightened out, it does seem to be a lot easier for them. So I kind of just teach them different ways to perform that lead change without what you would call the quote, typical body position that most of us start them with. And starting them is fine. It's your question's more about, the horse that maybe doesn't have as much talent.
Right.
And I think that, keeping the horse working, in these circles, and also for me, I taught them how I think to get a little bit more front leg off that circle, especially if you're changing in the circle, if you're loping on the left lead and you're changing to the right. If they're going left and you're asking them to change right, that is a big move for that horse to have to make. And you can usually get a lot more front leg going onto the right lead and vice versa from right to left. So I kind of really try to break their body apart. It's the same that a Western pleasure trainer would tell you. And that kind of goes back to my pleasure foundation that I think that helps me a lot. Somebody that I work with that is really, really close to me in the Western riding is Jamie Dowdy. She and I are really best of friends, and we kind of are always coming up with some stuff that's outside the box. She's an awesome horseman and a great Western riding trainer too. We're always bouncing stuff off each other, and that was kind of something that we worked on a little bit, and it seems to be, helping teach horses, good or bad, how to at least get it done.
Nice.
So one thing I could see or observe before I ask you some trail stuff, people say, Sara, you're so talented, you're such a great rider, but you are. I'm going to give you that. You are. But I see, like, because in the paints you have to do so many different events. I mean, all your life you've done so many events. You've done the undersaddle, you did a trail, you did the horsemanship, you've done everything, halter, showmanship. You've done them all. I mean, not all, but you've done lots of events.
For sure.
Okay, you're not just isolated to one Western riding or pleasure or trail. You've done.
No, and I think that's definitely helped me develop kind of my program.
Right.
All this time from the beginning, Chelsea and Taylor days of, having them have great moving horses and knowing everybody's happy winning the pleasure when they're 3, 4, but Sara, we want to do showmanship. Can we do can we do horsemanship? And in the paints, we are not as specialized as the quarters. And it is very, they kind of have to be able to do it all. I had some great youth kids like Jenny Hansen with a horse named In the Sweet Shop. He won the junior pleasure for me one year and the junior trail in the same year. And that same year, she was the #1 youth. And she won the EC, and I mean, he won all sorts of stuff. And to think of him as the junior pleasure world champion the same year, it says a lot about some of these horses. Yeah. And I think some of the quarter horse people that have come over and started doing some of the paints, I'm sure you guys do appreciate some of our all-around horses because we have to do it all with them. It's just not nearly as specialized as the quarter horses. But I also feel like over the last couple of years, the quarter horses have gotten a little bit away from that. And I am seeing more horses like, VS Goodride is a very good example of something that can win in the trail, win in the Western riding, win in the pleasure. You do have some horses like that. It's just the paints is just what we expect. My best friend is Carly Parks, and she and I talk about this all the time. She has done the same thing as me and transferred over and done a lot with the quarter horses, and she's had a tremendous success too. And I think a lot of it is due to that foundation that we know. That's great that they're good in the trail and Western riding, but we can't lose pleasure. We can't lose the hunter under saddle, and it's something that really helped kind of make me the trainer that I am today, I would say, guys.
That's awesome. So I'm going to bring it up. Have you always loved trail, Sara?
I'm just going to say, no, I have not. Tim has been involved in my life for a very long time, and any enjoyment that I get out of it is definitely thanks to him. He has really helped me so much. I do joke around about my feelings on trail. I do take it really seriously, but my friend, again, we'll go back to Carly Parks. She lives and breathes it, and I live and breathe Western riding. That does not mean, however, that you won't frequently find a pretty elaborate course set in my arena, because I do know what it takes to be competitive at that level. And if you're not kind of keeping it together, those guys are going to eat you up. That trail is so competitive at both the quarter and the paint show, but particularly the quarter horse show. The numbers are so big, and you can just get swallowed up so quickly. You rub a few poles, and there you go. There's 75 other ones, and I've had the fortune to judge some of those big shows. I know how this goes, and you really have to have it together, or it's not going to go well, that's for sure. But I've tried to take it as seriously as I can, but I'm not going to lie. I would prefer the Western riding, but I do have a place in my heart for trail as well.
But you own a lot of poles. And
yes.
And sometimes they're laid out on half the arena, right?
Like right now.
I agree. And I maybe the only thing I would tell you that I would love to inspire you to do is the back and side pass and the gate, right? Because you like to look.
Well, luckily, COVID took out the gate. Winning.
Yes.
So that's right. Backing, side passing, right?
I know.
And when I first met you sisters, you like to do that move fast. Oh my God, to slow you guys down to that back was like, wow, interesting. Anyways, so you've done well in the trail. Both of you and your sister have both done well in the trail, because you'll practice. If the wood's out there, you'll practice, I think.
For sure.
It's no fun to bring the poles out there. So I'll give you props on that for sure. How about, I'm not even going to press you on the trail because I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to ask.
That's nice of you.
I know. We would just argue, but I don't want to argue. We won't argue. We'll just, oh yeah, come on, really? You want me to do that? Are you kidding me? Yeah.
How about some advice? We'll do the advice thing. So, you have any advice for some younger horse trainers in the industry? And you've come from a family business, but there's some people out there that don't have that. But I'm sure there's things that you learned along the trail here that you can help some people when they're young and trying to get hungry to come in the business.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it goes back to the work ethic. I mean, I think you can kind of achieve what you want to do if you're willing to put in the hours and never stop learning. That is the one thing that I, really want to impress upon people listening to this, that I never tell people, no, I won't help them. There's always people that come and ride with me. I go ride with people. I'm always wanting to learn. And I think that is the most important thing you can do in this industry, is work hard and never quit learning, because there's a lot of information out there, but you have to be willing to go out there and get it.
So my next topic is about ladies. Okay, I'm just going to go for it. Ladies, when you get to a certain age, you guys got to decide if you're going to have a family, or you're going to do business, or what you're going to do. I'm curious what your thoughts of girls that are horse trainers starting a family. You have friends that do it. What's a feel on that?
Yeah, I'll be honest. For me, I gave it some thought a couple of years ago, and I kind of started to entertain it. And I still feel probably within the last couple of years, I would say I would definitely, if it was meant to be, I think that'd be great. Prior to that, I was vehemently against it. I was not having children. I was very sure that's not what I wanted. And as I've gotten a little bit older, I've decided that it might be something for me. I see Carly and Jamie, my friends, they handle it like pros. It's incredible, honestly. I am just in awe of the way they're able to run their businesses, mother their children, and just get everything done with very small kids. And it's pretty amazing. But I do know you can do it if you're a single mother, if you're not, if you have a supporting husband. Either way, I think it can be done. But for me, it's one of those things that I guess I'll have to say, if it's meant to be, it will be. So.
How about balancing life and business? How do you do that?
Back before, some of my friends, like Jeffrey was kidding me the other night. We were hanging out by the pool, and he was kidding me. I had gone to see my boyfriend who lives around Austin, and he said, I can't, I'm so proud of you for taking 2 days. A few years ago, you would have never done that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And so in light of COVID, I didn't know when we were going to be going to shows and what was going on. I don't know the last time I didn't work a Sunday that I was home. That's the truth. And part of that is because I was showing, and I get to judge, and I do clinics. And so any Sunday I'm home, I always rode. And so once COVID started happening, and I was riding these horses 6, and now it turned into 7 days a week. And I was starting to kind of feel with some of my horses, like, okay, they're used to me riding sometimes 3 and 4 days a week, going and judging for a couple days, coming home. I know what I need to get my horses broke. And it was maybe starting to become a lot for them. I don't know if other trainers experienced this during this time of social distancing, lockdown, whatever we had going on. But I found with some of my horses that they were like, okay, you should probably go judge at some point, Sarah. So I started to take a little bit of time, and Jeffrey made a point, because he knows me very well. And he just said, it's nice to see you going and taking a little time for yourself. And I did. So now hopefully we can all get back to showing again, and maybe I can go judge. I really want to go do all those things. And so maybe no more Sundays off for Sarah, which is fine by me.
So, you have anything, Brad? One more.
Oh, those were great points, honestly. Yeah. You learn that and you're still so young, Sarah, but you learn that the older you get, that there is times you just need to take away. Right. For about 3 years after Congress, I didn't get anything qualified for the open world, and I'd leave from Congress. And I mean, one year I took a European vacation, another one went to Hawaii, another one went vacation with family just around our states here. And it gives you you kind of come back with a new zest for sure. But I think that's a really good point about when you are a judge and you are a horse trainer and you're a coach and you're trying to juggle all these things. And like you say, like we have time right now at home when we really don't have anything other than just riding horses. Yeah, I would say the same thing, that your horses are kind of like, what in the heck? Why are you on me again? Wasn't that good yesterday? And the last day before that, the day before that, and the day before that, right?
Right.
Great point. Great points.
Can you talk just a little bit about that schedule that you're seeing in the next few months from July?
Yeah, I guess I would like to comment on the fact that obviously our youth paint world has been moved to join our open and amateur world. So now the schedule looks more like the quarter youth world will be the beginning of August. And after that, we kind of move into the NSBA world, and then we will go to the select world, which got moved to Fort Worth last year. So that's cool. Followed by the paint world that will now have the youth included with it. Then we move to the Congress, hopefully. And lastly, what we all look forward to, the Quarter Horse World Show. So that's pretty intense. I think on a side note for the paints, we have moved our 2021 dates back to the summer, to where the open, the amateur, and the youth will all go together. And that will be great. I think 08, 07, Tim used to come to that one. I know it was huge. It was an absolutely great event, and I'm really looking forward to them being able to put that back together in the summertime and move it out of, as I just talked about, that incredible amount of shows. It's just a lot, not just for me, for all of us. I mean, it's crazy whether you do that paint world or you don't. It's a lot. Especially to have to peak those horses at all those events, like we have to do. There's not much time for schooling. You got to have it together, or it's going to be a long 3 months.
And then where does Karen's Paint Congress fall into all that?
That actually is right before last year. It goes at the same time as the Youth Quarter World. So, yeah, that's one more thing. And that's in Tulsa. So, like last year, we had our horses at the Paint World, and they just stayed over to that at the Paint Congress, and they stayed over to the NSBA World Show. So we were essentially there for almost 3 weeks. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a full schedule for the summer and spring, late spring, so we're good to go.
For sure. Let's go.
That's good.
Okay, Sarah B., I think that's it for me, buddy.
It's been a great show. Very fun, as we thought it would be, and we told you with Sarah. She speaks so well, and now that we know you have so many attorneys in your family, now I kind of maybe see why. Awesome. I'm not going to get in a fight with you for sure, especially a verbal fight. But thank you for joining us tonight. You've been home for 24 hours, I guess, from the last show to leaving tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow in Oklahoma City. What, Tim?
I said you guys will see each other in Oklahoma tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're coming up tomorrow too, right, Tim?
No, not tomorrow. Maybe Wednesday.
Not maybe Wednesday.
Come on, Mano.
We have a live show on Wednesday. So don't miss our live show in Oklahoma City at the Redbud. Of course, we don't have any guests lined up for Wednesday because we are going live, and Tim and I are just going to wing it. It's going to be fun. We'll pull some people in, maybe if they have masks or something like that, we'll pull them in. Just kidding. But we're looking forward to going live Wednesday. We hope if you're there, come by, say hello from 6 feet away, and we'll look forward to a fun show in Oklahoma City. Thank you, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. See you soon. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, something comes along that could be a game changer. Enter Unishippers, a trusted shipping source for more than 30 years. If you need a reliable, fast shipping source, turn to a specialist that knows the unique shipping needs of the equine reproductive marketplace. As an authorized UPS reseller, Unishippers offers unbeatable shipping value. Let Unishippers deliver for you. Call Mark and his team today.
Caring for your horses is easy when there's a safe choice for you. If you need one feed for the whole barn, there's a safe choice. If your horses need gastric support, there's a safe choice for them too. Some horses need lower starch and sugar. You guessed it, there's a safe choice for them. There's also a safe choice for mares and foals, for seniors, and for easy keepers. All these horses can gain a lot with science-backed nutrition from Nutrina. Yours could too. For every horse, there's always a safe choice.
This has been a Kona Cam production. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.